All right, guys, I'm here for another review. I'm on page 67 in your textbook looking at numbers 11 and 12. The directions say to estimate each sum or difference. We know that a sum is the answer to an addition problem, and the difference is the answer to a subtraction problem. So number 11, we're looking for a sum, but it tells us to estimate it. So we're not actually going to write out the problem and solve it this way. We're going to estimate and change these numbers either by rounding or using compatible numbers to a problem that we can solve using mental math, okay? So I'm looking at the problem and I know I have 79 and 1/10 plus 32 and 4/10. So when I see 79 and 1/10, that is really close to the compatible number of 80. Immediately, I see that it's very close to 80, so I'm going to use a compatible number there. Put my plus sign. All right, next number I have is 32 and 4/10. That number is pretty close to 32. And I know that that would be pretty simple to do in my head. First, I'm going to add in the ones place, and I get a 2, and then 8 plus 3 is 11. So our answer would be 112. Now you could choose to round. Sorry, I have marker on my hands, by the way. You could choose to round instead of use compatible numbers, and that's totally okay too. So I made a video on rounding using the backdoor method if you need a refresher, but let's do this problem again using rounding. So I have 79 and 1/10, and let's round it to the nearest, let's say, tens place. So I drew my back door. Here's my tens place. Look in the ones place for the next door neighbor. This is 5 or more. It's a 9, so I need to raise this to an 8. And everything behind it becomes a 0. All right, plus, let's round here in the tens place as well. Draw my back door, check on the neighbor. This is less than 4, so that becomes a 3. Everything behind it becomes a 0. So now all I'm adding is 80 plus 30. 8 plus 3 is 11. And then I add my 0, so the answer is 110. So we could add this in our minds really easily. That's the point of estimating. So now let's look at number 12. I have 788 and 9/10 for my first number, minus 572. So I think I would like to use, I think I want to round, okay, in the tens place. So it's all up to you. You can round in the hundreds place, you can round in the ones place, or in the tenths place. You can do a compatible number. It's really up to you. You can solve this any way that makes sense to you. So I'm going to look at the ones place for my neighbor. I know that I'm going to have to make this a 9. Everything behind it becomes a 0. So using rounding, I get 790 minus 572. I'm going to round this in the ones place. I'm sorry, the tens place. So I'm looking, this is less than 4. I'm going to make this a 7. Everything behind it is a 0. So now I'm looking at 790 minus 570. Now that's still a little hard for me to do in my mind. So if that's the case for you, go back and round to the nearest hundreds place, okay? This is much easier, right? 800 minus 600, 8 minus 6 is 2. Add my zeros. 1 second, let me write that. Okay? So you can do it that way. Or if that's not too hard for you, you know that 0 minus 0 is 0 in the ones place. 9 minus 7 is 2. And then 7 minus 5 is 2. So these are both roughly the same amount, okay? Both are acceptable. You can round whatever place value you would like. You can do a compatible number. You can choose to solve this however makes sense to you.